All right. Or should we just do it?
Yeah.
It's the only life we got. Yeah.
You're not wrong. Okay, cool. Ashton, you're still here?
Yep.
Cool.
Girl, my eyes and girl, my mind. It never stops after it starts. 'Cause you're a girl, a girl of mine. The girl of mine. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Hot, hot, hot. Girl of mine.
All right, what time is it?
Girl time, I think.
Guys, you're killing me. What time is it?
It's girl time. It's girl time. Please. I want it to be girl
Ashton, what time is it?
It's girl time.
It's fine. Welcome to From Rushers with Love. We are a Big Time Rush podcast, and this week we are talking about
Big time
fever. My name's Maggie.
I'm Haley.
I'm Ashton.
Woo! Let's do this. All right. This episode was directed.
Did you guys introduce yourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Okay, cool. Let's go on. Let's move on.
This episode was directed by Jonathan Judge, who directed. I just double checked which one he directed. Photo shoot, and was written by Jed Springer, which it was interesting to me because this episode is the first one that he has directed or written. Sorry, that didn't include someone throwing a cat.
He's branching out.
Okay, so
Well, let's just jump into the episode.
yeah. It's 95 degrees outside. And they're dying.
The boys
die.
explode from the elevator with pool noodles.
It's 3 of the boys explode from the elevator. It took me a couple watches to notice. Well, it took me one rewatch to notice that there were only 3 of them. Because they're carrying so much, like, pool shit. Like, noodles and various flotation things.
Wait, who's missing?
Haley.
James is missing. Don't know
Oh,
where James
right.
is.
Duh. Duh. I've watched the rest of the episode. I know what happens. All right. Cool.
95 degrees outside. Apparently
Too
it's
hot.
never been 95 in Minnesota before, so they are losing their minds.
I mean, is that wild for LA? That seems like it's like a normal
No,
amount of
not
hot
really.
for California,
what
but I've also never
time-
been
don't
there.
They get there in like January, right? Originally.
Something like
I don't think
that.
it's ever established.
When they get there, it's -8 in Minnesota, so they're like, yeah, let's stay here.
And it's been 3 months, so...
Okay, so yeah, 95 in April is not super, super rare.
April's too early for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't go in the pool because it's Adult Swim hours. Only Bitters is, well, yeah, Bitters is the only adult taking advantage of Adult Swim.
So one of his whiteboards is out, and that's what it says. It says Adult Swim, no kids allowed. And Logan goes, "That's just plain rude," which is the funniest possible response.
I'm so
I would
sorry
like
to
to
do
nominate. Yeah.
I meant to say this earlier, and I couldn't find the note I had on it. Jed Springer wrote for Pinky and the Brain, and also his first ever fart joke was written for Big Time Rush.
Source?
Proud of him.
He had never,
Is that like
he
a
had
fun
been
fact
writing
on
for
his
years
resume?
and years. Yeah, it's a fun fact that he mentioned in the nighttime show. That he was like, "Oh, I'm too good for fart jokes." And then in like the first episode that he was writing for, he had to figure out how to do the underwater fart record.
He didn't have to. He didn't have to do that.
He did
he
because Scott
really-
Fellows asked him to.
Oh my god,
Scott.
Scott. That must suck.
Yeah.
Because if Scott Fellows asks you to do a fart world record, then you can't say no to Scott Fellows. I would like to preemptively nominate Logan for MVP of this episode. I enjoyed his performance a lot,
Yes.
and I think he deserves it.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
So
Thanks.
everyone else is standing around the pool just staring at Bitters, and they're so sad. They can't think. There's only one of him, and no one wants to cross him. There's so much space in the pool, and they're
I
just
also love
standing
that
there.
they haven't found anything else to do. They're just staring at the pool.
It takes Kendall Knight and a dry erase marker. He's like, the sign doesn't say adult swim, no kids allowed. It says adult swim? No, kids allowed. And he adds some punctuation to it. And then
they all
everyone
jump
jumps
in.
into the pool immediately.
Except they don't. The boys don't. They're just proud of their work. They're
Well,
proud
'cause
of
they
Kendall's
have to talk
work.
to Camille.
Yeah,
they
they
need
have
to
to-
hear about how great they are from Camille.
She compliments them for not falling victim to Hollywood fever, for still being the same fun, goofy guys they were when they got here.
No, what she says is you're still the same down-to-earth guys you were when we got here. And I know what she means, but it's just fun to think about how, like, does down-to-earth to her mean mischief? I guess that's just their default state, I guess is probably what she
down to earth
means.
if
But
you're Camille. So Hollywood fever has not gotten them, or has it?
Because in walks James.
No, James is already there. He lowers his
he's
magazine.
been there the whole time.
What was it called?
here the whole time.
What was it called? It was like something dog.
Oh, there's a sexy dog ad on the back.
Sexy dog, yes.
The sexy dog food.
Sure.
Yeah, it was an ad
It's
on the
probably-
back of the magazine.
So he lowers his magazine, and he
To quote, I think it was Logan said this.
It's absolutely Logan.
Yeah.
You know he looks like a yam.
It killed me. It's nothing. It killed me. I don't know. Guys, Orange James is so funny, and I can't clock why, but they just, every time someone just goes, he's orange, I, like, lose my mind. It's so funny. Anyway, yeah,
Every
James
time
is orange.
Every time they call him Orange James, like he's a separate being from
Yeah.
James.
Okay, no, we're gonna get
there. I have a
So many
specific point
James.
in the episode where I'm gonna talk about this.
All the
I'm so excited.
James.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
like my notes are specifically like, okay, once we get to this point of the episode, I'm bringing out this part of my theory. I have a theory. We're getting there. Stay tuned.
So Carlos thinks that this happened because Carlos had told James not to buy clams from the guy on the freeway. So I guess in his mind, James bought some clams from the guy on the freeway and then ate them and then turned orange.
Okay,
Guys, what's this running joke? It comes up more than once on this show specifically. Do people sell food on the freeway?
I think,
Because-
like sometimes at exit ramps, like when you're waiting for the light to change, there'll be somebody there like selling something.
With clams?
Never seen clams. It's usually like
Have you seen oranges?
probably.
Okay.
It's usually a produce.
Anyway, wild.
I mean-
that doesn't happen where the places I have lived.
everybody involved in the show lives in LA, so they know what it's like.
I don't think
Wild.
it's unique to. I don't know.
Hey, do you think in LA they call it this town in real life?
Yes.
Because
like a pop punk band.
the amount of times they say the words this town in this episode, I did not tally them, but it's a lot.
Too many.
It starts here because they're like, this town is starting to change him, and the heat's making it worse. Wild for a lot of reasons. He has Mandarin Action Tan Spray. It's a Cuda brand, obviously. It seems pretty on brand for James to have like a day like this. A logical continuation of the man spray
Right.
from Big Time Love Song.
But in
like
Big
this
Time-
this is not that much of a leap.
But in Big Time Love Song, he had a severe allergic reaction. You would think that he would just
And-
never be involved with Kuda ever again.
You'd think so. Oh,
And now, instead
no,
of looking at the
that's-
camera and saying, better wear your Kuda, there's just this weird growl that happens.
Yeah, I don't know why there was
yeah,
a growl.
I don't like it.
because it's like a cat sound, like a puma,
Yeah.
but it's cuda, which is barracuda, which is a fish.
I guess fish don't make cool noises. What would it be?
So
Like
they
just
put it-
splash, splash, splash?
Is it like how in nature documentaries they edit in like some other sound over an eagle because eagles sound really dumb,
Wait, really?
but now it's a fish and a giant cat.
Obsessed with that.
This is where I learned that Guitar Dude was originally a concert cellist when he first moved to the Palmwoods, which is fantastic.
Yeah, we see him in cellist form performing his What's Up song, but then it's called What Is Up.
What is up?
It's not as good. I think he made the right choice.
Absolutely.
Apparently the Jennifers walked in normal motion.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh, that explains your weird behavior, Camille. And then she's amazing because she goes, what weird behavior? And then she slaps Logan, and then she kisses him on the mouth, and then she slaps him again, and then she leaves. She's having such a good time.
It's a great time.
I think the thing about Camille is that she 1000% has like control over her weirdness, but she likes being weird and isn't going to let other people take that away from her because she's just confident enough in herself where she can just like this is what she likes doing, I guess, slapping people, which is not a great thing, but it's still very funny to me. I don't want to endorse violence against teenagers, but
Kendall is sure that he can break James of his Hollywood fever, so he walks up to James and says, James, you're orange and you look like a freak.
He's so confident this is gonna cure James.
He's so mad.
Like, I'm gonna bully him out of it.
They made a pact when they got there to be true to themselves, and he's definitely the only one who still cares, like, at all about the pact specifically. Like, I like when he gets weird about, you know, like the
turning his back on his friends.
Yes.
James clarifies that he's mandarin, not orange, but mandarin James doesn't have the same ring to it as orange James. So, and he explains that in Hollywood, if you can't tan with the big boys, don't even bother showing up at all. And Logan just goes, I don't even know how to respond to that.
Neither
Which
do
isn't
I.
funny, but I just enjoy him so much right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just his deliveries. I don't know what it is. I'm just enjoying him. Yeah, and then they say, James, we agreed we wouldn't let this town change us. It's not LA, I don't think is a town, right?
It's a city.
There's no way.
But they're usually, I think when people say that, they usually mean like Hollywood specifically, and they're not even talking about the physical location. They just mean show business.
But the city is theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
What's that by Katie?
Oh, no, wait.
Well, James has to defend himself from his friends trying to take his Action Tan spray. He yells, Action Tan, activate! And then he spins around and he sprays his tanning spray, and it works, because then he's able to escape. And Kendall goes, get him! And then... Kendall has so much power. I don't think they were going to chase after him until Kendall said that. So now Katie's subplot's like fine. It's not very interesting to me.
The fun thing to me is that she's setting up a little like frozen ice stand, and Bitters comes up to her and says, "Oh, look, it's Devil Boy's sister."
Yeah, so I'm assuming it's just because he's like the chief mischief boy out of the four of them, and they wreak havoc on the Palmwoods, but I really enjoy Kendall being Devil Boy.
Yeah.
That's extremely good.
So Katie is doing the snow cone thing because it's her chance to take over this town.
She's got a whole, 10-20 year plan. It's impressive for a 10-year-old.
And then he's, mocking her.
When he says, "Oh, are you a whittle tycoon? Yes, you are."
Baby Talk 101.
And then she pulls up her open sign and gets mobbed by customers immediately because Katie's a smart 10-year-old.
And the next scene, it's at Rock Records. So we got no follow-up on Kendall saying, get him, and then them chasing him. We don't know what happened between them then and then them getting in the recording booth. It was probably
I have a theory.
chaos. Yes.
I have an idea. It's not an idea. When they show the facade of Rock Records, they have the freight train sound effects. So I thought it was implied that freight train showed up at the Palmwoods and picked them all up and just carried them there.
That's
Ooh.
perfect,
I
actually.
feel like he could subdue Orange James.
He's the only one strong enough.
And then,
Maybe
like,
it
his
was just
shift ended, and
foreshadowing
that's why
for
he's not.
the Logan train.
Oh no.
I think that Freight Train was there, saw Orange James, extrapolated what was about to happen, and said, I'm taking a day off.
Hey, did you guys notice ever the sign that's outside Rock Records? There's like posters for his old boy bands, and one of them is called Game Point to My Heart. That's the single, and then it's by the Ball Boys, and they're like a basketball boy band.
I
Obsessed.
did not notice that.
Because we never hear more about them, and I'm very upset.
Man, they could have been called Boy Time Rush.
We're so close. So they're all in the recording studio singing Stuck, and James is orange. And Gustavo and Kelly and the recording booth guy are just like reacting to Orange James with their faces. They're not having it. And then Gustavo yells, "Cut, cut," but like in the same tune, in the same key as Stuck, when they go stuck, stuck, which I thought was very fun.
So Gustavo's like, will somebody please tell me why James is orange? And then James just takes out his fucking mandarin and sprays more of it in this tiny little sound booth. It's gotta be like, what, like 7 by 8?
Yeah, no, it
Maybe.
sucks. I have to not think about it because it's very stressful.
So Gustavo calls them out of there to yell at James, and he's like, image is everything, and the image I'm going for is not 3 normal boys and a tangerine freak. And James is like, does that mean the other 3 are too pale because I brought enough spray to fix that?
I think 3 Normal Boys and a Tangerine Freak is a very fun band name
It's
that
a
they should have
perfect vibe.
considered.
Yeah.
Also, Logan wears a sweater vest for the first half of this episode, and it's very cute, and I support him. That's just a throwback to middle school Maggie. She was all about that. Also, when they're having this conversation, James like elbows Logan to be like, yeah, like I don't know, he's not getting what's happening. But then Logan is like really grossed off and like wipes his shirt sleeve off because Orange James touched him. So that sucks.
So Kendall's like, we think he has Hollywood fever, and then Psycho strings, and Kelly gasps, and Gustavo like puts his hand in her face and is like, you, don't panic. You, stop being orange! That's where
Tries to take away the mandarin, and James has more. And then
he has so much more.
he has so much. He's killing the
Where's-
environment. Maybe that's why they didn't throw any cats in this episode, because he was too busy killing the environment. Jed Springer,
Yeah.
he's a menace.
Stop being a menace.
No, I think he's pretty chill, like as an actual person, from what I could tell from his like body of work.
I mean, they did have to like actually spray some stuff though, like, to make this. I think
true.
like it's probably just orange spray paint. So
Yeah, that's true.
Gustavo threatens to replace James with someone who's not orange unless they fix him.
let's go to 2J.
So Kendall confirms that James is not in the bathroom. And he does say the bathroom, which, so is that confirmation it's the only bathroom in the apartment? Maybe. That's upsetting. It's a really small bathroom. There's so many boys.
I don't know. I have like my parents' house has multiple bathrooms, and I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, it's not in the upstairs bathroom. I'd say, oh, it's not in the bathroom.
Orange James.
Oh, just whatever. If
It's
I'm
not in the
looking for
bathroom.
something, I've never. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I remember all
And
those
then
times
Logan-
I went to your parents and Orange James was there.
Yeah, it sucks. I just like, can he please leave?
Carlos confirms that Orange James is not in the Sparley slide, and then Logan walks out of that hallway that haunts my entire life, and he didn't find James, but he found an empty bottle of the Mandarin Action Spray, and looks at the label and confirms that it can be dissolved with water, which is a wild concept for tanning spray.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much
Well,
about
you
tanning
don't
spray,
get
but that
in
doesn't seem like
water.
that should be the way that it works. I think it's just a really shitty product because Cuda's just a terrible, terrible company
Yes.
that makes bad products.
So Carlos is like, you guys thinking what I'm thinking? And then Kendall and Logan do like a slow motion nod together. And then suddenly they all have super soakers and they make actual gun sounds, like how their plastic plates make glass shattering sounds. And they're all wearing bandanas.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where I really started to dive into this theory here.
Are they trying to tap into Bandana Man's powers in order to stop a different version of James?
Well, possibly. That could be part of it. Because I think that Bandana Man is trying to break free via Orange James.
Is it because they've already caught on to Bandana Man, so he's trying to come out in a different form?
Yes. And I think that, as you know, they talked about how the Hollywood fever is made worse by the heat. I think that heat is what strengthens Bandana Man, and the cold is what kind of, like, keeps him at bay, which is why
he never came out before they got to LA.
Right. Obviously, he did at some point, because they knew enough to be afraid of Bandana Man. So I think maybe they went on vacation, or maybe there was, like, a heat wave, as far as a heat wave can happen in Minnesota. You know, Kendall kind of was the one who was mostly able to keep back Bandana Man, because he is the strongest against Bandana Man's powers.
Kendall's also definitely the most perceptive, because the rest of them are too easily distracted by literally anything else, so...
Right. And that's why it was so important to him that the four of them stay together in the first episode, you know?
Because if he left James back in Minnesota, who knows what would happen.
Exactly. And also why it's so important to him that we gotta remember where we came from. We have to stay true to ourselves, because he knows that if James is not true to himself, Bandana Man takes over.
So I'm just thinking about how that means climate change is making James worse.
Yes.
Which, like, yeah. Like how it's making bears worse, and like bears are attacking people more because it's disrupting their hibernation patterns.
Yeah.
And okay.
And so they decided, you know, obviously he's getting pretty bad. Bandana Man's taking a new approach. Maybe we'll take a new approach. So they put on the bandanas in an attempt to siphon some of Bandana Man's power, make him weaker and easier to overpower. But they unintentionally opened themselves up to, instead of using the power of Bandana Man, were overtaken by the power of Bandana Man, which we're going to see in the next couple of scenes.
Can I tell you what I wrote about this?
Also, before we get into the next couple of scenes, Kendall calls them Carlitos and Loganator when he's telling them the plan. I think that's really fun.
Okay, yeah, two things.
Agreed.
All I wrote was, they are all wearing bandanas. This is appropriation. And then, okay, so Loganator sounds like a cool thing, like it's a play on Terminator. Carlitos just means little Carlos. So that's not as cool.
They've called him that before.
Like,
it sounds like it's just his nickname.
And then I was like, what is... Well, then... But there's also, like, Lil Logie. And that's different from Loganator. So I was trying to figure out what James's nickname would be if he was here and part of this.
Jimothy.
And then I just thought about Orange James and started laughing again. So I don't know.
Is it possible that Orange James, Bandana Man, and Mirror James are all separate entities? Or are they definitely one?
Maybe it's like a political alignment chart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no.
Also, because maybe they are all part of James, but it's like one part like comes and takes over. Like this happens in Star Trek, you know how it goes. But like inside of him, it's like he has different traits like people do.
Yeah.
But they're embodied by, there's an orange one, there's a bandana one, and then there's a mirror one. So the mirror one is all about being pretty, but not like no brain.
Right.
Which is a big part of him, but it's not all he has, because like...
I don't know about that, because Mirror James seemed very insidious.
That's true. So many angles, so many possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
So
we'll come back to this.
Carlitos is gonna scope the pool for Orange James. Does not get old. Loganator is
He
gonna...
says, Tyler, have you seen Orange James? And then I'm yelling, sir, have you seen Jordan?
Loganator is gonna hit the Palmwoods Park. They don't say what he's gonna do there. Like, you assume he's supposed to
James.
scope for Orange James, but all he tells him to do is go to the park, so I don't think he's really
He's just trying to get Logan out of the way.
for what happens to Logan. And Kendall is gonna stake out the lobby. Then he yells, "Move out," and then they move out, and Logan does like a bird call that I didn't care for. So
You know what happens here is that Kendall wanted to stay in the air conditioning.
Yes.
So that's why he claimed the lobby and he sent the other ones outside because he knew they would do it, he says. Also, the outfits they're wearing are ridiculous for 95 degrees.
Yeah.
I'm guessing it's because they had to go to Rock Records and they're like, okay, we have to like look kind of professional because we're going to record. So they'd put on normal people clothes. And then they just didn't change, but they did go and find sunglasses and bandanas for their mission, but like forgot about the rest of the outfit. I don't know. They're all in like jeans and long sleeves and sweater vests. It's ridiculous.
I think that they're just teenage boys who don't think about the consequences of their actions and think, these look cool.
So we immediately see Carlos scoping out the pool. He gets out there, he rolls across a table that a couple is sitting at, and he knocks all of their stuff onto the ground. And then he goes up to Tyler and he's like, "Tyler, have you seen Orange James?" Tyler's like, "No, but here come two of the Jennifers." And then he turns their fan on for them.
But then they don't walk right. They stumble. It's tragic.
They're missing the blonde one.
They found out that she took a soap opera job in Iceland because the heat was making her hair lifeless. So that happened like over the span of like lunchtime. They saw her that morning. It's like one heat wave, one hot day.
Mm-hmm.
It might have been a few hot days, actually. Maybe it's been a lot of hot days. We don't actually know.
But they've lost to Jennifer, and they cry to Carlos and realize that he's the same height as old Jennifer. He could help their pool entrances be as powerful as they once were. And so they talk him into being a Jennifer.
Katie plot. Again, it's not that interesting to me. Bitters walks up and he tries to shut her down
Because he wants the profits and he wants to make a deal with her so that he can make money off of this 10-year-old child. And she says, "Shut up." So he takes away her stand.
But then Buddha Bob was, I guess, cleaning like the bottom of the pool. So he swims up to the side of the pool.
I thought he was just enjoying Adult Swim.
He was holding like a maintenance cleaning thing, though, like a tube.
Yeah.
For like scrubbing a pool.
So
he's like, always working. He can't escape it.
The Palmwood episodes usually, or the Palmwood scenes are usually during the workday. And it is his full-time job.
So he's like, "If there's one thing I learned in business school, it's that you can always get out of a contract." And Katie's like, "Okay."
Well, she says, "Dude, I'm 10.
Well, no, he says a lot of, like, fancy business words at her, and then she says, "Dude, I'm 10.
Yeah.
He asks if a T-bone's value moves in the opposite direction of its yield. And I tried to Google it. It seems like the answer is yes, but I don't know enough about business to confirm it for sure. But now we like know how old she is, which is helpful because I think the actress is like our age, so at the time she was probably like 12 or 13. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So Buddha Bob is like, "Well, I can't get you a blender, but I have this wood chipper, and then a hot day is I put ice in it, and then he can like pretend he's skiing in the wood in the ice chips, and he does some fun little swishing ski noises."
So let's see what's happening in the lobby.
There's actually too much happening in the lobby. It's pretty dope, which sucks.
I know. I'm very impressed every single time because Kendall's got his water gun to wash off Orange James. So he yells, "James!" And then as he's shooting at him, James does these super sweet like cartwheels and backflips like through the entire lobby over to the elevators, and it's all in slow motion. And he avoids all of the... They're not bullets. That's not how water guns work. But
Squirts.
he doesn't get hit. Yeah, no, it's extremely impressive because, like, that's not a stunt guy. That's just, like, James, I think, just going.
Yeah, he's too good at
that is
backflips.
absolutely a stunt guy. What are you talking about?
Not the last one.
When
he's, like, going in the lobby, that's a James, right?
doing all of those flips?
At least I thought he did the last backflip. I could be extremely
Can he
wrong. I
do
just
a
assumed it was him.
Backflip?
Yeah, they
I
can all do
think so.
backflips.
I don't think Kendall could do a backflip.
No.
I don't think there's any way Kendall could do a backflip. I
But
could be
James
mistaken,
and Logan
but
definitely can.
because he confirms it in the pilot, and then he just never does it.
Okay. So they just do a big old Matrix pastiche.
It's
And then-
incredible.
James gets to the elevator and gets inside, and then he pokes his head back out and sprays margarine, and then closes the door and goes wherever. And Kendall's like, I can't believe I missed! And now everyone else in the lobby is soaking wet. And they are so mad at him.
But
and
he
now
says,
he's gonna die.
well, he said, guess I helped you guys beat the heat. Which sucks. I would be even more mad at him.
I would have physically fought
he-
this man.
He knew the line didn't work, because then he immediately runs away, because he knows that he couldn't talk his way out of that one.
Yep.
So Logan is at the park looking for Orange James, and he runs into Guitar Dude. So he's like, hey, you seen Orange James? And Guitar Dude's like, dude, have you seen yourself? Because he's telling Logan to, like, chill out, because this kid is wearing a sweater vest on a 95-degree day with a bandana and sunglasses, and he's doing his whole thing. And Logan's like, no, you don't understand. James looks really stupid. Guitar Dude has some, like, really wise things to say. He's like, if tanning's his thing, well, that's cool. Let James be James. And then he makes a little song about let James be James. And then he tries to make Logan play the bongos with him. Logan's like, look, I don't have time for this. And Guitar Dude goes, hey, man, you can rush around trying to find someone that doesn't want to be found, or you can find Logan. And then Logan starts playing the bongos, and he's really enjoying himself. And then they presumably smoke a bunch of weed after the camera rolls away.
I feel like every time there's a Guitar Dude episode, I end up writing, what is Guitar Dude's weed dealer's number?
Yeah.
Um,
Back at the pool, they are turning Carlos into a Jennifer, and he's not really convinced yet because, like, he's a nice person.
he's like alternating between a fedora and his helmet.
This
So,
sucks.
like, we could talk about Fedora Carlos if we had to.
I don't think we have to.
It's not his fault.
So they're like, when do you have your own dressing room at the studio? And he's like, we keep all our stuff in a duffel bag, so these guys share a single duffel bag.
Yep. I don't think they need too much stuff there.
I guess. It's probably like a hockey bag, though, that they had in Minnesota and they brought, and it probably smells really bad, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, that bag is probably disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
That's 1,000% what's going on here.
And he's never sung lead on one of their songs, which is true.
And in the background, as they're having this conversation, Kendall is chasing Orange James through the pool, and he's screaming for help from Carlos, but Carlos he hears him, but he does not acknowledge him, and he's like, hey, Jennifers, keep talking. And then they're explaining, they're like, hey, to make it in this town, you have to be mean and selfish and in it to win it. And then Kendall's just sprinting through the background after Orange James, and it's like, that's peak comedy. I don't know. But yeah, no, they've convinced Carlos. He's a Jennifer now.
He's committed to the fedora.
He's a tiger shark. So they do this, like, elaborate fish metaphor about how to make it in this town.
Oh, yeah. She said that this town is like a fish tank. You're either a shark or a piranha. Or a minnow or a piranha. What fish tanks have they been interacting with?
It's the eat or be eaten thing.
Right,
No, I know
but-
that's what it is, but
right. But a fish tank consists of more than minnows and piranhas.
they
I
could
mean,
have
if you
just
have
said
a piranha tank, you put minnows in there to feed to them, probably.
Do they hang out around a lot of piranha tanks?
could have just
Would
said
you
this
have
town
piranhas
is
with
like
other fish?
the ocean.
Well, it's a fish tank because everyone's looking at you.
It's a bad metaphor.
Kendall finally corners James. He's about to spray him, but his
It gets intense.
yeah.
James does this really creepy head tilt. He's like, you're looking a little pale, Kendall. It sucks.
Kendall tries to spray James, but he's out of water, and James gets away. And then Gustavo calls and asks if James' fever is cured.
No, he
And-
presumes.
Oh yeah, he's like, you did the thing, right, Kendall? And then behind Kendall, Orange James and Jennifer Carlos and Bongos Logan all like start closing in on him.
After the commercial break, they're all in the recording booth again. And by all, I do mean both Jennifer's behind
Mhm.
Carlos as well.
Guitar Dude's not there.
No, he's not. My note for this scene is stuck plus bongos equals Maggie crying because I was in literal tears. It's exquisite.
I just wrote the heading for this section in my notes is just holy shit. So, Gustavo and what?
I think this scene could have gone very differently if Kendall had not been in the lobby when he was looking for James. I feel like that is the only thing that saved him from falling prey to not just Hollywood fever, but also evil bandana man powers. Because he was pretty close to being nuts with the water guns. He got...
I actually was not worried about him at all in that regard. I was like, yeah, that's just a Kendall.
I'm so sick of him being the special one who's true to his roots.
Right. So I think that he was very close, and if Gustavo had not called when he did and they had gone along with their shenanigans for a little bit longer, like maybe a couple of hours, he also would have gone into a weird, awful version of himself.
And then Katie would have to stop it because it's interfering with her snow cone sales.
I want that
Yep.
episode.
Yeah.
So,
So Gustavo pulls Kendall into his office. Gustavo is wearing a hoodie that's bedazzled with rhinestones, and it has a big rhinestone G on it, and it has a matching beret.
Fun fact, they told SKG that he could have a lot of freedom with what he thought Gustavo would wear, so he just went to a bunch of secondhand shops and found all of this old, like, Kangol and Rockaware and just the tackiest clothes he could find, and he created Gustavo's closet.
Nice.
Which means he created Gustavo.
Right. And I think he was able to take a bunch of it with him.
Well,
After the
that
show.
feels like...
I mean, he bought
Yeah.
it.
Oh, true.
Kendall's trying to explain. He doesn't know what happened. He explains he was trying to wash off Orange James, and then things just kind of snowballed. Do you think that was a foreshadow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I thought that was fun.
So Kendall's like, why do I have to fix everything? Gustavo's like, you're kind of the leader, so kind of stop them. And then they all break down the office door because Kelly couldn't stop them. And they start yelling.
Carlos says, "Yo, Gustav, I want a solo in the next album."
And
then
his
the
name is
Jennifers-
Jennifer now.
And then he's like, no, well, maybe not that.
And the band's new name is Carlos and the Rush.
And then he hands him like a mock-up of the album, and I didn't pause it and look, but it's got, I think, most of the tracks listed on the back. Like, I definitely saw Big Time Rush and Famous written on it, so
And
I'm just trying
I know
to figure
City
out,
is Ours is on there.
yeah, which songs they've written by that point.
Logan is not sober right now. He implores everybody to chill it out and hop aboard the Logan train to Mellowville. And then he boops Gustavo on the nose and says, "Bink." Not like that. He says it in a different way. Is this the second time he's booped someone's nose on the show? So
Yeah.
that's a fun continuity.
I also didn't type out the line because instead I typed out, Maggie's gonna say Logan's line here.
Yeah, I don't want to like
my note.
do it.
No,
It's
see, I tried that once
so
with another
funny.
line once, and it didn't happen.
I would love to know how specifically this scene was scripted and how much they just let Logan do his thing.
Maybe they actually gave him some weed.
A lot of bongo playing.
I don't
It's-
think that Nickelodeon is allowed. Well, this was before they had Snoop Dogg on, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Duh, yeah. Why am I saying right?
But I don't think having Snoop Dogg on their show lets them talk about weed. I don't think that's part of the deal.
Yeah. And then from the other side of the door, you hear a voice say, "Knock, knock." And everyone in the room says, "Who's there?"
And the answer is orange.
They all say, "Orange who?" And James bursts through the door and says, "Orange, you glad I brought enough mandarine for everyone?"
I was really hoping he was going to say Orange James, but he didn't.
That's the best possible answer, actually.
It's going to be my new go-to joke now. Just in any setting.
Me too. Okay. Kendall, Gustavo, and Kelly all escape to the supply closet, and they admit that Hollywood Fever has broken up almost all of Gustavo's previous bands.
He says either they go to solo careers or they go to Canada to live among the moose. Boink, boink. Almost like
He's
it's a
not
nervous
forgiven.
tick. Almost like the
Not
Scooters
forgiven
thing.
Boy Quake for that one.
So I think another important thing is that Gustavo already has a very negative association with bongos.
Yeah. Bongos don't calm Gustavo down.
I should probably not just say that. I'm going to clarify. He destroyed Matthew McConaughey's mailbox and then got arrested for it because Matthew McConaughey plays the bongos until 3 a.m. and they're neighbors, I guess. So Gustavo probably had some bad flashbacks once Logan came in with those.
They're gonna divide and conquer. Kendall is gonna take Bongo Boy and drum some sense into him. Kelly is gonna find Carlos and remind him that he's not a Jennifer! And I wanted him to say that he was gonna make James stop being orange, but he just says he's getting James a shrink.
I mean, he already peaked with Bongo Boy. It was only going to go downhill from there.
I don't know. Orange James is so good.
Orange James
True.
is perfect. Well, Orange James sucks.
I also wrote
but
that Kelly looks really cute in this
The
scene.
phrase Orange James.
Kelly always looks cute. It's like,
I know.
it's almost not even worth putting in the notes anymore.
Yeah.
She's like a hair clip and then like a bunch of necklaces.
Ugh.
And yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. Good for her.
So we got
Now there's a Katie scene.
Buddha Bob has constructed her like a big floating platform. I don't know what it's suspended from, but it
Palm
makes
tree.
it so that she's not in violation
Palm
of the
tree?
contract because she's not on Palmwood's property. She's above it, and then Bitters like threatens to destroy her. You know, like you say to children.
Says that he'll buy it for $100, and she says 500.
Right. She definitely would make more than $100. Probably has made more
Oh,
than
yeah.
$100 on the stand so far.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 500 is a fair offer. Also, does he not know where to buy snow cone? Like, I'm sure he's a
No.
table. He doesn't know where to get ice. That's probably the issue. Well, he's Buddha
doesn't
Bob's
have the ice
boss. He
chip.
could probably just he could just tell Buddha Bob to make him ice because he's his boss and he'll do it.
That's true.
He would just need to buy like syrup or whatever. He could tell Buddha Bob to go buy syrup and he'd do it. Buddha Bob will just like do whatever.
I think the important thing to know about Bitters' character is that he wants to make money, but he doesn't want to do any work to make it.
And he also wants to destroy Katie because she's doing better than him, like at life, and it makes him feel insecure.
Right.
So I think that's where we're
And
at
also
this point.
because she's Devil Boy's sister.
Oh yeah. He's too afraid of Kendall to take him on directly, so he has to like go through the family.
I'm also afraid of Kendall.
Yeah.
So Bitters does like a full-on evil laugh, and then he walks away and he steals someone's snow cone.
He sucks.
So Kendall enlists Tyler and Camille to help him with Bongo Boy.
They're gonna tap into Logan's love of math.
They said into the old Logan's love of math,
Right.
which does suggest that the old Logan
is dead.
This is a different person.
Right. Because
Yeah.
the powers of Bandana Man unleashed a horrible kind of new creation that is Logan.
I mean, I think that's just what Hollywood Fever is. They get taken over by like a moose person and then they move to Canada. Like, maybe this is just something that happens in this universe, but it's, like, especially wild for James.
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what makes him
He's James.
tap into the other side.
Let James be James.
Let James be James.
Don't play those games.
Play those games. The Kendall's plan is to make Logan trade in his bongo rhythms for logarithms. And no one laughs at his joke. Again, jokes for himself.
Oh, I was gonna ask if anyone else expected Kendall to send Tyler to beat Logan with a cardboard cutout of Phoebe and she. But he just sends him over with some apples and he makes him do a, like, subtraction problem. So Tyler's like, how many apples do I have left? And Logan's like, doesn't matter, dude. As long as you've still got some apples and Cindy's got some apples. And then Kendall is, like, leaning into it. And he's like, yeah, he's got a point.
Camille
And he
is
yells,
not
"Darn it!"
amused because she's the weird one.
Because he can't yell, damn it. I wish he could. I want
Hockey
I
Kendall.
am
bucks.
really into Logan's vibes in this episode. It's fantastic. He's finally not anxious for once in his life.
Yeah.
I would love to be that high, like, most days and have some bongos and, like, not be stressed out about
Everything.
apples. I don't know.
So that didn't work.
Gustavo's got that shrink for James, and she's like, don't worry, I got this. I'm a shrink. I know he's doing this to cope with his feelings of estrangement from his hometown in his new and intense Hollywood environment. And Gustavo's like, no, he's just nuts and orange. And the shrink is like, no, you don't. I worked with Taylor Lautner, and before I worked with him, he couldn't leave the house without a sock monkey. And I couldn't stop thinking about the Stephen Kramer Glickman TikTok where Taylor Lautner was extremely rude to him at the 2011 Kids' Choice Awards. It's not
Is that the
even
cupcake
extremely
one?
Yeah.
rude, it's just like,
Is there anyone in Hollywood that that Stephen Kramer Glickman hasn't been completely destroyed by?
So the shrink goes in to talk to James. She shuts the door. Like 2 seconds go by, not even, and she opens the door, and she's orange.
And she feels like she's been kissed by the sun.
It's very stressful for me because it's not like a super neat job. Like, obviously she didn't, like, take her shirt off, so there's, like, orange spray, like, on her nice shirt and clothing. That sucks. I guess it washes out with water, so it's probably fine.
Mm-hmm. And
Mira James
tells
is
her-
too powerful.
James tells her she looks fantastic, and Gustavo's like, stop being orange! And then he goes into the room and slams the door, and then you hear, like, an altercation.
At no point did Kendall tell Gustavo that it washes off with water. Was this intentional? He definitely wants to stop
Yes.
Orange James, but it's also very funny if he's just, okay, James is going to be in Rock Records for a while, so he's not going to, like, cause any more damage. So I'll worry about him last, because I know I could just need to get some water on him. But it'll be funny for Gustavo
Yep.
if he doesn't know this. And then gets to find out later.
Yes, no,
I
I
think
love
it's fun.
that.
So, then Kelly is in the Palmwoods lobby, and she made, like, a shopping cart slingshot. It's like a callback to the pilot. And she's like, hey, Carlos, you totally want to try this thing, right? Jennifer Carlos is like, no.
He goes, care to try out my forget it? And then they go, burn, he brought it.
They're so bad at being mean.
Why did I
Like, it's
block
their
that
whole
out?
personality.
I would be very intimidated by them, though, if I was there.
Yeah.
Kelly accidentally launches herself into a luggage cart, like, clear across the lobby. Carlos and the Jennifer step out of the way, and she just has a near-death
Dies.
experience.
She's fine.
So back at Rock Records, they're doing a progress check, and Gustavo is orange, and he's like, we have made no progress.
He's orange, and, like, his entire sweatsuit is just bright orange, and so is his face.
It was kind of like a flesh tone, almost. Kelly's like, why doesn't Kendall have Hollywood fever? And Gustavo's like, because he has a normal brain.
And his friends have the brain of a cricket.
Guys, I know I bring this up like every other episode, but I'm so excited for like season 3 Cricket Brain Kendall. It's what I live for.
Cricket brain.
I wish they hadn't said the cricket thing though, because if Gustavo just left it at Kendall having a quote unquote normal brain, I would have died. And Kendall's like, they don't have cricket brains, they're my friends.
No, he doesn't deny the cricket brains.
No, he just doesn't want to go solo.
Okay.
Yeah?
That feels more, that's my boy, okay.
He knows about the cricket brains.
He knows about...
Oh, okay. Well, the next thing Kendall says, he's like, well, I'm going to go do what I always do when you and this town and the heat get to me. And then Gustavo kind of like waves his hands by his head, like kind of mockingly, like, okay, whatever. But when he does that, bongo sounds play. Logan's not here. I don't know why they put the sound effect there.
They just hit the wrong button.
And he just left it in.
Logan's not there.
It's like that's what he's hearing when Kendall's talking to him. He's just hearing bongo sounds.
It's like Charlie Brown when the adults talk, but it's bongo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what Gustavo always hears when they try to talk to him.
That's why he doesn't respect them, because all their words sound like bongos.
They just sound like Matthew McConaughey.
I mean, if someone spoke to me and they just sounded like Matthew McConaughey playing bongos at 3 a.m, I wouldn't enjoy them being around either.
If someone spoke to me and they just sounded like Matthew McConaughey, I wouldn't enjoy that. So, Kendall's gonna hit the rink to figure things out, like he's a hockey version of Troy Bolton. the ice and cold remind him of where he came from.
And Kelly's like, what?
So,
say that last part again. The board!
So Kendall's a hockey version of Troy Bolton, and then Dax Evon is the vampire version of Zac Efron.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Solved it. Alignment chart.
Yeah. So Kelly tells Kendall to repeat it, and he says, I go to the rink because it reminds me of where I came from. And they look at each other and nod, and Gustavo says, why are you looking at each other and saying things twice?
Which is
a good line.
It's extremely good. And
Not
Kendall
as
has
good
to
as-
explain that.
Not as good as...
And as good as Orange James. Is what you're going to say.
Orange James sounds like a knockoff brand Orange Julius.
Yeah.
So Kendall explains that he never got Hollywood fever because he never lost touch with his roots. And Kelly's like, oh, I get it. Hollywood fever is just a fancy term for homesickness, which I think is the opposite of what's actually happening.
Yeah.
But in her defense, she probably has a concussion from that slingshot thing, so I think that's excusable. But the issue that Kendall literally just said, because he's the one who remembers where he came from, they have forgotten about Minnesota completely. They don't remember it's a place.
What's a Minnesota?
Yeah.
So we gotta resolve. Katie is still running her stand above Palmwood's property, and Kendall runs up to her and he's like, I need 6,000 pounds of shaved ice, stat.
Dude, she's 10.
And she's like, I can't because bidders will destroy my stand if I leave it. So then she just sells the stand to bidders exactly as a city official gets there to fine him for various health code violations.
Yeah, it really has Willy Wonka unloading his factory right before OSHA has invented energy.
And then, like, he keeps talking and getting written up for additional things. My favorite is when he says rats. And then the guy's like, oh, another 500 for rats.
Where did Kendall get the number 6,000 for the amount of pounds of ice? Like, Logan's not there to do the numbers.
Well, he knows exactly how much ice you need to make a hockey rink.
He didn't make a hockey rink. There's no hockey being played
They
in the
weren't
next
able
scene.
to do it in time.
Also, I'm just obsessed with your 10-year-old sister has a snow cone stand, and then you run up to her and say, I need 6,000 pounds of shaved ice. I guess he knew? How did he... He didn't catch up with any of this. He was busy chasing James. Did he know about the wood chipper? I don't
He
know.
probably saw it when he was passing by and stuff.
So they lure Orange James and Bongo Boy and Jennifer Carlos to the Palmwoods Park, and there are 6,000, I guess, pounds of shaved ice there. And
I
they
do
all-
have one thing before that. I'm so sorry. I know we've been going, but I have a couple of thoughts. I enjoyed how the way they lured James is that he was in the bathroom looking at himself in the mirror, and Kendall throws snowballs at him from the kitchen, which is fun.
Oh, also fun fact, the psychiatrist played a judge on Frasier.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the only other thing I had before that is, so they're all sprinting after Kendall because they're mad at him. And Logan's still playing the bongos as they're running. And I was on the floor.
Okay. I love that, like, Logan was like, guys, be chill, and got pelted with exactly one snowball. And then he was like, we're throwing hands.
And then he starts screaming, bad vibes, bad vibes. And he tries to use his bongos as a shield a couple times, which I enjoyed.
The bad vibes thing is unironically me, too. I'm also on the edge of, like, flipping out at any moment, I feel like. So, yeah, that one snowball, I feel like that tracks for him for sure.
Would you scream bad vibes, though, or would you just, like, yell at someone for throwing a snowball at you?
Oh, no,
Directly.
it would be inner turmoil for sure.
Okay.
And then I would just, like, cry about it later. But I say bad vibes, like, out loud
Every day.
in the public space every day. And it's 2021, so
Gross.
I don't really know. I
So
do
they-
have my favorite tank top says good vibes only on it.
Nice. But yeah, they run into the park and there's a mound of snow and it's so much fun. The wood chipper is shooting more snow out, and I think that must have been a really fun scene to shoot, just running around in the snow.
So as they're having this snowball fight, there's this really, really sweet version of Famous that's playing in the background. And it has this awesome guitar solo.
It's guitar,
That is-
dude.
No, it's better than that. It's like a really good guitar solo. And I think that's what we sacrificed in order for Logan to rap. And
No.
I'm sorry, Logan, but I don't think it's worth it.
It's
Like,
not
that
worth
it was a really sweet version of the song, and now I'm like kind of mad about it. 'Cause now I'm gonna have to just watch this episode whenever I want to hear that version. And I was also wondering if the choice of the song "Famous" here, we talked a lot about the like how that song works thematically in the show.
Yeah.
Does that fit into the theme of this episode at all?
Absolutely. I mean, the whole premise of Famous is like talking about all the things that fame promises. You want all this big stuff and this flashy stuff. Well, you gotta work for it. You gotta fight for it. You gotta claw your way to the top. Okay, that was not a complete thought. Hang on.
Okay. I just think it's the reason it's hard is I think because it comes at this place in the episode when it's kind of like triumphant and like things have finally like been wrapped up. So now it's used as like a
right.
bookend instead of the actual conflict because the conflict is over at this point.
Right, but think about James's
It will
verse.
be in like a minute.
We gotta work harder, fight the fight together, take it to the top. We got the winning team.
It's supposed to remind you of, like, the lingering danger.
They only played the chorus and the guitar solo, so they didn't have any of the verses in there.
Right, but like,
So I'm thinking maybe it's more of like a bookend to the theme of the entire episode, I think is how it kind of fits. Because
Yeah.
then it's like, hey, so you saw everything that just happened now, right? You sure you want to be famous? Because Hollywood apparently does that to people. But I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a taunt.
I actually love
Yeah.
that read of it.
Famous is the gift that keeps on giving.
Truly.
I know.
The layers to this one.
Layers.
No.
Stop. Scott released the Forbidden Guitar Solo Famous.
It's gotta be out there. Somebody's gonna send it to us as soon as we finish rapping. this episode. Nope. I've lost all
We're
my
not
words.
gonna rap.
Song
I
is
want the
on the
version without the
radio.
rap.
Hot rotation video.
Hot rotation video. Hey, you know what actually slaps is Logan's rap over the sucker chords.
No.
Yeah, we did that earlier.
Oh my god.
I can go down the list of Big Time Rush songs and just sing them over Sucker, and they're all better. Which
Sucker's such a
I'm
good
not like
song.
surprised by anymore. I'm just like mad about it.
Someday we have to
This
like
is just better
reverse.
than
It
all
doesn't
Big Time
deserve
Rush
to be this
Sucker
good.
someday. Okay, I keep getting ads for like, it's like you can take a songwriting class with Ryan Tedder, the guy who mostly wrote Sucker, and I was like, what is he gonna teach me? He already wrote Sucker. It's like I can't write Sucker too.
Well, that's why he's like teaching classes now, because he can't release any more music, because like
Yeah,
he did
peaked.
Sucker,
He
and
did
it's
it.
over. Like he peaked. Yeah.
He wrote music. He wrote the music.
All music is done.
Okay, we're very close to the end of the episode. The two Jennifers yell at Carlos. They yell, "Jennifer, do something!" And he insists. He says, "Actually, the name's Carlos."
And
And
he's
then
like, my
that's when
name
he-
is Carlos!
And he like
And then he puts
He's-
the helmet on.
he's wearing the helmet and he's still wearing like the peacoat thing and the silk scarf.
and the silk, yeah.
And he's got his arms spread wide in the snow that's around him, and he throws his head back and he enjoys life, and he looks
Yay.
like the end of a Hallmark movie.
Probably one that he's been in.
The fact that he's been in Hallmark movies haunts me.
I really enjoyed his name being Jennifer for a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that is so funny, and I can't clock why, but
It's just an
It's really
inherently
good.
funny name.
yeah.
It's
Not
because
in, like,
he's a
an-
parody. He's a parody of the Jonas Brothers.
Oh, right! Don't know why
So
I
you didn't think I'd
of
be the one
that.
to bring that up.
But what's happening is, I guess, the cold and the ice of the snowballs that are being thrown at them reminds them of where they came from. Either that or Kendall just provoked them enough where they were able to, like, engage in the moment and then, like, snap back into place, which I think is it.
Yeah,
See-
if you're ever stressed, you're supposed to put ice directly under your eyes,
Oh.
and it'll, like, factory reset your brain.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, like, real. Damn. Yeah, but Logan was, like, not in any place to tell us about the science of it, so that's where we missed out.
Mm-mm. I thought that it was just that Bandana Man, his like cold is his kryptonite.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't
that's-
get to that
yeah.
part of my theory, huh?
You did mention that
did
the heat gives him power.
Yeah. okay.
'cause-
Yeah, I think that Bandana Man's vanquished when snowballs are thrown at him, and I think it was wise that Kendall started like the first snowball was thrown at Bandana Prime, so that the other ones were weaker.
Bandana Prime.
Yeah. But the snowballs were thrown by Kendall and the rest of the Palmwoods Rock Records friends. So it could either be read that Bandana Man is weak to the cold or water, or that he's weak to like friendship and like love or whatever, and that's the corny version of it. But either way, the reason that Kendall made sure to be around James and also the others is so that he would be the one to keep Bandana Man in check. Like,
That's the only
I
reason
think-
they keep Kendall around.
um,
No other reason.
I mean, if he knows that Bandana Man is weak to the cold, why would he not just immediately start with trying to cool him? Well, I guess the water.
Well, because I think at first it's because it does track for James. Like, yeah, he's going to get into some other Cuda product.
Right.
And it's just going to be annoying for a little bit. But
Cuda
then
cult.
he saw him do all those... I think he saw him do all of those backflips and was like,
Backflips, yeah.
James Diamond cannot do that. Like, regular old James is not capable of that.
Yeah.
So that's when he realized there must be some other power afoot. And because it's so hot out, the Bandana Man can come in and do all those sweet moves.
So
Yeah.
Orange James is just like a more powerful mutation or strain of Bandana Man.
Is there anything symbolic in the way that James gets all of his orange off when he lays down face first in the snow and does like a snow angel?
Yeah, I just haven't thought about what it is.
Okay, cool.
It's
I have
definitely
an angel
symbolic.
tattoo. I should probably, like, that should probably be my space, but I don't know. And then when he does, like, pop back up, he's, like, miraculously not orange anymore. at that point in the episode, I'm so used to Orange
Right,
James
it's
that
jarring.
He looks so
I
pale
know.
and sickly.
this Victorian boy.
This sick little French boy.
So did we do it?
So, yeah, let's okay, we should do that brief reflection. I know we did a lot of that with the Bandana Man theme. So
Yes.
we're learning more about
We're really
whatever's happening with James.
Yeah.
Mirror James, Orange James, Bandana Man,
there's just
we
a
just
lot
need
going
to-
on with him.
So I think we just need more information and context, and I think that'll help us. I don't think we can do any more right now, honestly.
Right.
I don't think we have enough information. I don't think Logan ever gets high again.
No.
Maybe. I mean, maybe probably at some point, but I think he just goes back to regular anxiety Logan, and that's sad for him.
Well, at some
So
point he's
I want him to
Pretty
be able to
cool.
have this. I
Right.
want the bongos to be in that first album. I don't think we really moved forward that much with Carlos.
there wasn't much to say with Carlos.
He obviously became disillusioned with the Jennifers because, before he was worshipped them and thought they were hot and wanted to date them, and now he's over it kind of, but that
I don't
definitely
think
comes
he
back
is,
in pretty
yeah.
full force. Right, because you'd think that at this point he'd be able to move on, but he does not, which is disappointing.
Carlos,
So
do
close.
better.
He did look there's the fedora, but he looked pretty good, and then the jacket and whatever. I thought that was a good look, but we don't really get that again either.
Ever.
Who else is left? Kendall's left. Kendall, I want to know more about. I'm pretty, because right now my theory is that his transition from normal brain leader trying to save the group to cricket brain
brain.
Kendall. Obviously, a lot of it has to do with the progress of the bands. Right now, they really need to work hard to make it, and then after a couple of years, they've made it, and they're just he doesn't need that pressure anymore. I also think he just gets kind of broken down. A lot of stuff happens, and he just
They
doesn't
just
have the
break
energy
him.
anymore. Right? There's too many shenanigans, and he just
wants
can't do
none
it
of
anymore.
it. He wants no part of this.
That's my theory about Jo in this episode.
Yeah.
Why she wasn't here.
Okay.
Whenever there's a missing character, Jo and Mrs. Knight, I'm just they saw some part of what was happening and said, I want no part of this. Mrs. Knight maybe saw James in the bathroom putting on mandarin spray and was so
Mandarin.
that's going to be a thing.
Yeah, do I have the energy to deal with this today? Nah.
She's it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be loud. So
I think she was recognizing that it was going to be a disgusting orange mess.
And then Jo probably was going in the lobby or walking down the hall to hang out with Kendall and see what was going on. But then she saw him with a bandana and the sunglasses and the water gun and was just
Not today.
maybe not today. I'll try again tomorrow.
I wonder if
I want
she
no part of this.
I wonder if Camille texts her with the big
Oh, but
time
that's absolutely
update.
what happened. Because Camille she shows up at the end to throw snowballs, right? She didn't get too involved though. She was.
She
had
did
control over her
introduce the
situation.
concept of Hollywood fever.
Yeah.
What if
did,
she
yeah.
she texts Joe all right, I'm gonna tell him about Hollywood fever today. LOL. Let's see what happens. And Joe's just they're not gonna handle this well. I don't want to be here.
They're yeah, Kendall have it fixed by tomorrow.
So much faith
Everyone
in this
has a lot of
boy.
faith. Everyone has so much faith in him, except Bitters, who calls him Devil Boy. So we know that is the relationship.
I love Devil Boy.
I like the idea that he doesn't know any of their names.
Ooh, has he called them by
But he
name
only
before?
refers to yeah, he's he knows the Knights. He knows it's Mrs. Knight, but he has no reason to know the children's names.
Right.
He knows Katie's name because he has to destroy her or whatever bullshit that is.
Know your enemy.
And yeah, with Katie, we learn more about she's really smart and wants to be successful
And she's 10
knows
years
how to do
old.
it. She's 10 years old. And then again, Bitters has this insecurity. Well, he wants to get rich and not do any work. And then he also there's this ongoing competition with her.
Super
That
insecure.
really, yeah, it keeps coming back. I think that's most of it.
Are we good with the episode?
Yeah,
Is that the end of it?
that is. Please follow us on social media and
Bandana
stuff.
Man lives on.
Tumblr's it's where I'm most comfortable. So
Yes.
if you have it, that's where I implore you to follow us and like, I don't know, send us asks or just like whatever. But we are on Twitter and Instagram as well.
And obviously the Gmail's always there, linked in our website.
Absolutely. Our website is rusherswithlove, all one word, .podbean.com. And that has all the stuff on there and all of our episodes.
And we love you. It's getting late.
Oh,
I'm turning into Night Haley.
Are your pants cold?
Nut Haley.
Can you not do this to me
Can
every
you
single
not?
time I speak?
I have to go. My pants are cold.
Yeah, you
Bye.
better.
Girl, my.
Yeah, that was fun.